Okay, hey, good morning. Hey, I'm Dave Miller. Thank you for joining the webinar on vision boards. So I'm excited to share this with you. I've had some really great success with this and worked on figuring it out. I've learned a lot of what I'm going to tell you from several mentors and then from my own experience. So a couple of things before we get started. So hopefully everything will go well and we won't have any technical difficulties, but if we do, then I am recording the webinar and I'll make sure that everybody has access to it. So there's a chat box, a webinar chat box. It should be on the right side of your screen where you can message people. So we're going to use that for questions. So if you have questions, type them in the chat box and I'll answer them probably at the end. And then also, we'll also use it as a way to keep some notes. So if I say something that you think is significant and you want to type that in, then we'll use it kind of as a way to share thoughts with other people. So if you can just make sure it goes to, when you type that, you have some choices in the chat box. Everyone, all panelists are certain people, but like type those to everyone and then they will be able to see those and we'll use it as a way to kind of keep some notes too on that. So that would be good too. So let's get going with this. So the first part of this, I'm going to be switching back and forth from my camera to PowerPoint. So sometimes there's just a little bit delay as I switch to share my screen and then switch back to the camera. So just realize that, but you should either be seeing myself or you should be seeing the PowerPoint. So if somehow you don't see one of those things, if someone can type in the chat box and just tell me, hey, there's something wrong, okay? Okay. So right now I'm going to switch to share my screen with you. There we go. Vision board success with Dave Miller. Yay. So let me just open up with this statement. The amount of endurance one has in doTERRA, or anything else for that matter, is directly proportionate to the clarity of your vision. I'm just going to read that again. The amount of endurance one has in doTERRA or anything else is directly proportionate to the clarity of your vision. So a lot of times we have people say, well, I just don't have discipline. Like I can't discipline myself to like work out or to eat right or to make contacts or to follow up. And I don't think it's their discipline. What it is they lack vision, okay? They lack vision. So let me go to the next slide. So I want to introduce you first of all to something that I refer to as the pain paradox. So on one, we have choices and we have results. And actually it's called the pain paradox of sacrifice. So if we make our choices short-term easy, then the result of that is that it's difficult later. However, short-term difficult leads to long-term easier. So let me illustrate that. So money is a good example of this. Not that everything's about money, it's just a great pragmatic demonstration of these principles, okay? So what's a short-term easy strategy with money? It's, okay, I want something, so I'm getting it. And so we buy it on a credit card. So that was super easy. We got the thing we wanted and we walked out of the store with it. And then later though, you got to figure out how to pay that back. So long term, that's harder because, well, if you can't pay it all back, because, I mean, credit cards are part of the deal, right? Today, but if you don't pay it all back, then they charge you interest, and that interest is anywhere from, maybe you got a great rate and it's less than 10%, but a lot of times those are nearing 20%, and so you end up paying a lot more for the item, and it's harder, right? So if you choose, however, I want something and I'm going to wait until I have the money to purchase that item, then in the long term, that's easier, right? It's it's hard because at first it's a sacrifice, it's like, hey, we want it and we want it right now. And I can't have it. And so we sacrifice until we get it. Now, the interesting thing about that, a lot of times if we don't buy it on impulse, then later we decide, oh, we don't really need it, right? So that's a great illustration of that particular principle. So now we know this. Now we know this paradox of sacrifice. So now what are we going to do? What's our strategy that we'll use to do that? So what we are going to do is we're going to leverage that long-term vision to endure short-term sacrifices, right? So that's our strategy: leverage long-term vision to endure short-term sacrifice. Because sometimes we're just not wired that way, but we need to have that as strategy. Because I don't know about you, but I mean, short-term easy is good occasionally, but the long-term is not very fun when we do that. So I was on a webinar with one of my mentors yesterday, and they illustrated it this way, and I really liked it. So a lot of the times people are successful. I would say most of the time people are successful in something because they do the things they don't want to do. There are things we don't want to do, and anything that is reasonable and that we want to achieve. I think of sports, for example, and I played a lot of sports growing up, and I still play a few now. But you think of, in fact, I went out my sophomore year of high school. Then I went out for the football team, and the reward for that was the games, because playing in a football game was fun. But the practices are brutal. In fact, it means in the summer that you're working on that all the time, and you're lifting weights and you're doing things. And then come fall, there's a thing called Hell Week, where you have 2 practices a day, sometimes 3 practices a day, and it's hot, and you're getting beat up, and you're running, and it's uncomfortable, and you're just doing drills and things, and it's not very fun. But you do it because your vision is how it's going to be to play in that game, right? So I think that's a really good example of that you put in a lot of hard work to get good at something. It's the same with playing the piano or public speaking or something. I mean, it's maybe uncomfortable to practice, but then there's something worth it. So that's your clear vision. So the more clear your vision, the more endurance you'll have. And that is your vision is what gives you a reason to sacrifice, which means doing the things you don't want to do. And there's definitely things in any business that you're like, well, that's not my favorite thing to do. And, for us that are working in doTERRA, I mean, for some people, it's I don't like contacting people. I don't like following up with people. I don't like to mentor, and so most of the time that's because we're afraid of something, and fear is an interesting thing, and usually we're afraid to talk to someone because we're afraid of how we're going to look. So if you look at that, I mean, fears can be really selfish, because when you have fear, you're actually being selfish. You're thinking about yourself. How's that going to make me look? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I'm stupid? What if I look stupid? What if I don't know the answer to the question, right? But when we change to serving the other people, then that's when that fear goes away. So there's a little saying that says it's hard to be nervous when your heart is on service. So that's a different webinar though. So clear vision gets us to do the things we don't want to do. So if our vision's cloudy, if you don't have a very clear vision of what you're trying to achieve, then why are you going to do the hard things? So when people quit something, when people stop sharing doTERRA products, when people say, I don't want to do this anymore, it's usually not because for any other reason than they don't have a clear vision. Because if your vision is cloudy, then there's just no connection here. And why are you going to do the hard things? Why are you going to make the sacrifices if you're not really even sure what your vision is? So that's the way that is. So vision is a pragmatic strategy that we're going to use, and the clearer our vision is, the more likely we are to execute on our activities. See, our brains are not programmed for success. Our brains are programmed for survival. I mean, if you go back in history, it was about surviving. It was about just getting enough, just surviving. And so we have to change that. We have to have some strategies that will lead us to success. But with a lack of vision, you're just not going to do it. So it's just virtually impossible to be motivated and have success when you have no vision. So that's important. And there's a lot of ways that we can have vision. A lot of ways to help us clarify our vision. So today we're going to talk about vision boards. That's one of the things, and I think it's a powerful thing. So, but before I move into that, I want to talk about purpose, mission, and vision. So a lot of people think that those are the same thing, but I don't. I think there's something a little bit different. And we're not talking about purpose or mission today, but I just wanted to just share my thoughts about that. About purpose, to me, is why you do the things that you do. You know, why do you work? Why do you get up? Why do you take care of your family and your house and your children? And, you know, what? Yeah, that's kind of your why a lot of times, I think. Mission is, what do you want to have your life counted for? So that's a big thing. To me, that's mission. And vision is a picture of a moment in your life that you will experience. And it's a picture, and an image is what makes a vision powerful. So I'm going to stop sharing and come back live. Okay. So we're back live, or well, we've been live the whole time. We're back on camera. And now I'm going to get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts of vision board. Actually, before I do that, I think I've painted a pretty good picture of why vision is important. And I just want to reiterate that if you're struggling with doing those things that you don't want to do, if you're not doing the hard things, then work on clarifying your vision. Okay. And if you have team members that are not doing the things that they say they want to do, then work on them with their vision. Help them to clarify their vision. And I hope that you'll teach them some of our vision board things today. Okay, so vision boards, a lot of people do them different ways, and I've seen them that are really large and have lots of different images to something that's really small and hidden away. But if you want, the first thing you need to know, this is the first key, is that you have to actually have one. So you need to get a vision board. Now, I don't mean that you have to run out and buy a bunch of stuff, because you don't. Because the first vision board that I had, then I was told, hey, just grab some of that blue painter's tape. You know, it comes in blue or green, but it's the tape that painters use, because they can stick it on the wall and then they can take it back off. It's not going to take your paint off. It's not going to ruin your wall. But you need a frame. Your mind likes order, and it likes a frame. So I've seen people's vision boards where they use an entire wall of their bedroom. I've even seen someone that have their vision board like their ceiling. I guess they just lay in bed all day and look up there. I don't know. But it needs to have a frame, and it should be something like 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, or 2 feet by 3 feet, or 2.5 by 3, something like that. So not super big, because we need to be able to see the images. And so literally, don't think, okay, it has to be fancy and it has to match everything. You can go do that, but I'm telling you that you're missing out. You need to get started now, right now. When we're done, you need to get this vision board. And if you have something to a frame, then you're going to actually need it. So I hope you're hearing that this does not need to be perfect. Okay. Next thing is, it has to be where you can see it. So I know some of you have a vision board and you have it in your closet, behind a door, behind a cupboard, somewhere that it's hidden. Well, guess what? If you're hiding your vision board, then that's telling the world and telling your brain and that you're ashamed of it, that you don't want other people to see it, and that it's not something you're proud of. So if it's hidden, get it out from that. And I am going to suggest that it's as close to your bed as possible. So get it next to your bed. You'll see from the pictures I'm going to show you that mine is literally right next to my bed. The next thing is height. Okay, where are you going to put it as far as height goes? What I like it so when you're looking at it, that your eyes should be just above the center of the vision board, or just about the center, maybe a little above the center, because when you look at it, I want you to be able to easily see it. Okay, so that's the next hint. So then so it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't make it too big or small. Don't hide it. Get it next to your bed if possible, and then think of it as divided into one of those tic-tac-toes. So you don't literally need to put lines on it, but in your mind's eye, then think of it divided, and then you have 9 spaces. Okay, that gives you 9 spaces. So I don't recommend you having any more than 9 things on your vision board. Okay, why? Someone's saying, hey, why, Dave? I'm saying that you want to keep it to things that you can focus on and that you can really get into and intense on getting these 9 things. If you have 20 things up there, then how are you going to focus on getting those things? So I would say no more than 9. It doesn't have to be 9. Sometimes I have 5 on there. Sometimes I have 6. Sometimes I have 9. But don't do more than 9 things at a time. Focus on those 9 things, and then when you get something off your vision board, put something else on your vision board. So get the things that are really important to you. Okay. Okay. So then we've got our frame. We've got it on the wall. It's about, the center's about at our eye level. Maybe our eyes are a little bit higher, and we've got it next to our bed. And then the next thing is, so we've got that. So now what we need is some images. So, okay, your brain is starved for images, and images are so powerful to your mind. Remember how I said a vision is an image of something that you are going to experience or get, right? So you got to have some images. So what do they say? They say, there's a saying, everyone's going to know this: an image is worth, and all of you in your minds just said, 1,000 words. So you got 9 items on your vision board. That's 9,000 words. 9,000 words right in there. And our brain is starved for images. So I want you to think about right now, like the negative force in the universe absolutely knows how powerful images are. Think about like the biggest problem people get into on the internet, right? Pornography. It's like rampant, and people are getting into trouble with this, and it's breaking up families and causing people to be shameful. And anyway, and it's, so I'm saying if the negative force in the universe understands the power of images, then we should probably pay attention, and we should also understand how powerful images are, and we should use them. Like all of the good people in the universe, on this planet, should understand we can use images for good too. So we need some images on our vision board. That gives us 9,000 words. So find images that speak to you, that are the things that you want the most, and get them on your vision board. Now, words are also powerful. There's a lot of power in words, and I also understand that we have a right side, a left side of our brain, and they like different things. So we're also going to have some words. So sometimes I have an image with words. Sometimes I just have words, but right now I have more images on my vision board than I do words, and I feel like those images are really powerful. In fact, the way that my brain works, I turn those images into a little movie in my head. That's just kind of what I've always done. That's just come naturally. So when I'm looking at that image of myself on a beach in Hawaii, then I look at that image, and to me, it becomes a little movie. And I can see myself on the beach with my family walking. I can smell the salt water. I feel the wind rustling through my hair, and I hear the palm trees and the waves crashing. And so that image to me becomes actually a little movie, and it's super powerful. Okay, so now we have our vision board. We have pictures and statements on the vision board. And now this is the reason that Okay, nope, I'm not gonna go there. Let's talk for just a second about the kinds of images, things we might have on our vision board, because they fit into different categories. Number one is an item. This is basically something material, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This could be, I want a new van, or I want a car, or a camera, or a home, just some type of thing. The second one would be like an event, some type of event, like a wedding, or a I can't think very good right now about what other events, but an event. The next would be a place, like a place that you want to go to. So maybe you want to go to Italy, to the Amalfi Coast, or maybe you want to go to Rome, and you want to see some things in Rome. So that's a place that you want to go. The next would be a status. Yeah, exactly. So an event, oh yeah, Super Bowl, the Masters, right? I've got a story about that I'm going to tell you. But thanks for your help, everyone. And so a status, so that would be like, I want to be a gold in doTERRA. I want to be a diamond. I want to get my certification for a trainer. That's letters after names, like MD or DBS. Maybe a status, I want to be an author, a best-selling author. So status. The next is like an award or a trophy. I want to win this award. I want to win the sales award. I want to have some type of recognition. Okay, so those are all awesome things. And then there's what I find with people and vision boards is a lot of times we have a lot of those first 5 things on it first, and then as we start getting things off our vision board, then we kind of move into another category, and these are really powerful. So number 6 would be a gift, being able to donate some money to something, or donate a car, donate your some time, pay for college for your children or grandchildren, or some kind of service. Service is always more powerful than things, I find. Number 7 is like a person, like earning the respect of a person, parent, God, your force in the universe, your colleagues. And then number 8 would be like legacy things. What did you leave behind? Basically it's when you're dead, then what do you want to have happen? So something you're going to leave that's like a legacy. So those are some things we could put in our vision board. So, and some of those you can divide up into categories. I know some people on their vision board they're super organized people, and they like to say, okay, my first spot is a health goal. The second thing is for a relationship goal. The third thing is a vacation, where I want to go. The fourth thing is, and then they go on, and they divide that up into maybe a money thing, and then a personal development thing, and then something for their family. And that's great if you want to do that, and that's how your mind works. Perfect. And there's no right or wrong answer with that. It's just that the images have to be really important to you. Okay, so we've got our images up there, and they're powerful. We've got our words, and it's close to our bed. And this is why. Because what you need to do is you need to look at that vision board every morning when you wake up, and every night before you go to bed. So, and I do it for 3 minutes. About 3 minutes is all that you need to do that. Now, if you want to look at it for 4 minutes, fine. But 3 minutes every morning, 3 minutes every night. So my routine is that, and I'm a prayerful person. When I get up in the morning, I like to say my prayers. And so I roll out of bed and get on my knees and I say my prayers, and then I stand up and turn around, and there's my vision board. And I look at it for 3 minutes. And then before I go to bed, then I come in my room, and the last thing I do before I go to bed is I look at my vision board for 3 minutes and turn off the light, slide into bed. Actually, there's one more activity I do before that, which I'm going to share with you later. So I look at my vision board, I do this activity, and then, yeah, it's nothing sketchy. And then I get into bed. Okay, so 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes at night. So you're probably asking, so what are you doing in those 3 minutes? So how am I looking at it? So I look at one thing at a time. So one thing at a time for 30 seconds or so. And when you look at it, you need to get really intense. Like, look at it. So if you have on your vision board a new car, so you look at that and you notice everything. Notice how the color of the paint and how it shines, and notice like how look at the wheels and how those wheels look on the car, and the curves, and how the beautiful, how the hood comes up and meets the windshield and the windows, and look at the sunroof that you're going to have, and think of yourself driving that car, like how that would feel, how the leather feels as you get into the seat, and how the steering wheel feels in your hand, and get really intense with that. If you're looking at a picture of a beach because you want a beach vacation, then look at how the water is coming onto the sand, and how the palm trees, the bend of the palm trees, and how that is, and imagine what it feels like, what it looks like. The more emotion you can get into that, the better. So if one of your things is to serve, go on a humanitarian trip, then and maybe your images of maybe you have an image of, say, like Ghana, for example, and look at the way that the children are in the street, and how the dirt road is there, and imagine yourself serving, and how that would feel to build that school, or to teach that child how to use oil. So you see what I'm getting at. You have to be really intense. If you want to see yourself walking the purple carpet at convention, like, post a picture, the best picture you can get, that would be you, and then think of how that confetti feels hitting your face and going down your dress and into your mouth, and the music that's playing, and how you're going to walk, and the dress that you're wearing, or the suit, and shaking the hands of the owners and people high-fiving. I mean, get really intense and into it, and do that with each picture. Now, sometimes I just have words up there, or numbers. And so if I had up there, which I had up there one time, that I wanted to get a $50,000 check, 1 month check from doTERRA for $50,000. And so I just had a number, $50,000 check from doTERRA, but I would look at how each number is formed, what the dollar sign looks like, and the 5 and the 0 and the 0, and I look at that really intense for that time. Okay, so it's intensity that is going to do that. Okay, so that's awesome. And so there's several ways that this is going to help you. Number one is, in order to get these things off our vision board, we have to get our brain working. So your brain is like a literal, little shop up there, and you have all of these workers in your brain. And your brain is lazy. Like your brain is being lazy. Like I said, your brain is programmed to survive. It's not programmed for success. So we've got to program it. So let's just imagine all these little workers in our brain, and we're pushing on them now. We're pushing on them. Now, before I was in doTERRA, I had a printing business and we had over 100 employees. And as owners, we were trying to always improve our production, improve our manufacturing process, reduce waste. And every time that we wanted to change something, we wanted to move a piece of equipment because it would be more efficient to have it in a different flow. We wanted to have a place for all the tools instead of just someone walking around for 20 minutes looking for a tool. So anything we did most of the time with these workers, we'd say, hey, we want to change something. We're going to push a little bit. We're going to change. We're going to improve. Then all of a sudden, all the things started coming to us. Well, we can't do that because, that won't work because of this. Oh, we don't have room for that. We don't, we just can't do it. And it's like, and because we were pushing on for change and people didn't like that and they push back, well, your brain's going to do the same thing. So it's going to push back on you because you're pushing on it and saying, okay, get off your lazy butt and let's create some things. Let's get some things. And we're going to need some help. And so you're kind of rattling it and it's going to push back and say, you can't do that. You can't have that. It's not going to work. And let's just go back to not doing the hard things that we need to do to make your vision come true. So those negative comments will kill your vision board. It will absolutely kill your vision board. So we have to do something about that. So I have a tool for you, and I have to find it first. Oh, here it is. See this? Oh, see this really ugly, like 25-cent composition notebook? So I suggest you get yourself a notebook like this. And I think the uglier it is, the better. Now, it could just be a piece of paper. Like, again, I don't want you to wait to take action until you find an ugly notebook. I mean, you can just go get a piece of computer paper and do this exercise, but eventually get an ugly little composition notebook. And this needs to be by your bed as well. So let me show you. I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you a picture. Ta-da. Okay, so here's a peek into our bedroom. And right over here that's my vision board. This is my nightstand right here. And I sleep on this side. Tammy sleeps on this side. She has her nightstand, and Tammy's vision board's right over here on this wall. Okay, so there's a look. This is from Tammy's side of the bed. There's my vision board. There's my nightstand, and everything's close. And yeah, I don't have blue tape anymore. Okay, so we're going to have these negative thoughts, and they're going to come to our mind. And I think you know what I'm talking about. And while I'm looking at my vision board, and I'm looking at something that I think, okay, that's really stretching, and my brain just says, you're not good enough. You're not going to get that. How are you going to get that? And other things too. I might even hear things not even related. I might hear oh, you're not a good friend, or you're not a good father, or you're not a good recruiter, or you've never been able to get things. I mean, it just comes on and on. So, and there's a lot of people that think, oh, well, I can just not listen to that. But I'm saying bull crap. What you have to do is you have to write it down. So if you can see it, you can stop it. If you can see it, you can stop it. One more time. If you can see it, you can stop it. So I have this ugly notebook. After I'm done looking at my vision board for the 3 minutes, all of the negative things that I came to my mind, I write down right here. I write them all down, and you can see where this is all torn. So, and then I write down all the negative thoughts. I rip the page out. I tear it up. I crumple it up. I stomp on it. I throw it away. So something funny is occasionally they're so stupid and so wrong that you just want to burn them. So I always know when Tammy's having some really kind of negative thinking, because in our bathroom, then our toilet's in a little separate room, and I'll smell like something on fire. And she's like over the toilet burning the paper. Like they're so bad, you're like, okay, you are getting burnt, right? And so she will burn it up into ashes and then like flush it down the toilet. So those are really intense and bad thoughts, I guess. And so they're gone. So you have to write down those negative thoughts. And you see them on paper, I guarantee you that you'll think like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, that's stupid. Who's telling me this stuff? Well, I think you know where those negative thoughts are coming from, and so you've got to see them, and so you're not going to believe them, and then you're going to flush them down the toilet or throw them away, crumple them up, destroy them. Okay, so the second part of making your vision board work well, besides finding the negative comments that are destroying our vision board, is you have to have another notebook. I recommend getting another notebook. So something colorful. So I'm sure a lot of you be more creative than I am, but something that you love, something that really speaks to you. You know, that notebook, maybe it's the one with the flowers on, or the scene, or the one with the, you know, the Corvette on it, or the one with all the sunset or whatever. So I just have a green one. I like the color green, and I got a green one and I like it. And so in this notebook, as I'm looking at my vision board, I want to be inspired, and I'm asking for inspiration. And in here, I write down all of the good ideas that I have. So I have a list right here, and I date when I thought of it. And so with me, when I get this inspiration, when I get these good ideas of things that I need to do, things I can do to help me achieve these things on my vision board, then if I don't write them down, like, I will forget them. It's like one of those things where you're like, oh, I had a great idea yesterday, but I can't remember what it was. Well, keep this right by your vision board, and then you can write down all of the good ideas that you have. And sometimes it may seem that they're not related to the things that you want. Like, you might be looking at your vision board, and you're looking at a picture of you walking at convention, or getting a new leader, or taking that trip to Italy. And the thought will come to your mind, you should call this person and apologize. And you're like, how is that related? Write it down and do it. Whatever comes to your mind that is good, write those things down and do it, because you might not know how that is going to help, but you're asking for ideas and inspiration. If you're like me, you're looking to your higher power for that, and also you're pressing on your brain to do that, and write down those things and do them. So okay, so now you've written down all the negative things, and now you've got the good ideas. Now, at times at night when I go to bed, I have to keep this close, because occasionally I'll wake up in the night, or I'll wake up first thing in the morning, and I'll have an idea. And so I have it close and I write it down. So, and if you're getting a lot of ideas, you might want to even carry this with you in the day if you're feeling really inspired, and write down some of those things that you can do. Okay. So that these two things, the bad notebook and the good notebook, have made all the difference in the world. And you're focusing on those 9 things, and on those negative thoughts. I mean, we have to control our thoughts. We have to try to watch those thoughts, because all that negative talk. I mean, especially, I was reading recently that women have like average 13 negative thoughts a day of just about their body. And if we are going around all day saying things like, I can't keep a clean house, or I'm so bad at remembering things, or I'm just so stupid, or I'm fat, or I don't like my legs, or I don't like my arms, or if we're saying that, well, I'm a terrible husband, or I'm a terrible leader, I'm a bad mentor. I mean, all of those things affect us. And so, I mean, if you're like me and sometimes you get a messy office, then I'd say, you know what, I'm really good at making a mess. I mean, that's better, right? But you have to control that, because the very thing that you're pushing on your brain to get things done. And then at the same time, we're like bad mouthing it. And if you say those things, I mean, it makes your brain sad. And with a sad brain and a sad spirit, how inspirational, how are you going to get that inspiration? How are you going to do things? So we need to watch our thoughts and writing them down. I mean, if you can see it, you can stop it. So because we need to, and then changing, we need to create positive, because if we create enough positive, and this is one of the important things about personal development, if we create positive, we can push out the negative and destroy the negative. And if you want to be in creation mode, that scale has to tip, right? You've got negative and positive, and it has to tip to the positive in order to get those things done. And when we put this stuff out there in the universe, I mean, everything we say and think and do all creates vibration. And when you create this vibration, then people show up and they will help you. They'll help you get the things that you want. So let's be nice to our brain, and let's put out those positive things, and let's put that stuff out there. Now, there's probably some people that are saying like, no, I've learned to control my thoughts. I don't. And I'm like, okay, then why are you on this webinar? Because I don't think anyone can totally control the thoughts coming in and out. Like we need some help. We need to be aware, and we need to write them down. Also, I believe in God, and I'm Christian, and whether you do or not, or you believe in whatever you believe in, higher power, then there'll be a lot of people be like, well, but Dave, how does that work into this situation? I mean, doesn't God create everything? Yeah, absolutely. But have you heard of co-creation? I mean, we need to do stuff first. Like we need to be the ones that are saying, this is what I want. Asking and doing, and then these forces come in and help us create. So it's all there. That's another maybe discussion that we don't have time for. But okay, so let's see. Oh, okay. So last piece. Okay, we're almost done. Last piece is I keep a book, and this is what I want you to do. So this is like a super cheap little notebook. And on the front, I have some notes because I present on this often, but on the front, it says Vision Board Success. So what this is evidence. So if you've been listening to me and you've thought like, okay, this is really good, but how has this really worked for you? Well, let me show you. So what this is just a cheap book, and inside I put sheet protectors. Okay, so in the sheet protectors, anytime I get something off my vision board, I put it in this book. And this is my book of evidence. So at times when I'm thinking like, well, man, my vision board, I don't know if this is working, then I always go to this book and I look at these things. So the first thing I had right here is Blue Diamond, because that's when I kind of started my vision board, and I wanted to achieve doTERRA Blue Diamond. And so I took that off my vision board and put it in the book. Okay, so this is a fun one. Those that know me know that I love golf. And in 2007, I had a brother-in-law that took me to the Masters. So he got an invite from someone, and he invited me, and we went all 4 days of the Masters, and I totally fell in love with the place. And it was just amazing. And so I really wanted to go back. So in 2013, I put on my vision board that I wanted to go to the Masters. So the tickets to the Masters, however, are limited, and they only go to families that have had them for a long time, or there is a lottery. There's a drawing, and you can put your name into it, and millions of people do, and there's just a few tickets that get divvied out. So in 2008, I put my name in for Masters tickets, and I never drew out. Every year I'd get an email saying, you didn't, sorry, but you weren't chosen. So I decided to put on my vision board. So in 2013, I put it on my vision board, and I got 4 tickets to the Masters. And we went and we had an awesome time. It was so fun. And I was able to take my dad and Tammy and my son, and I had so much fun. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to do that again. And so 2014, I put it on there again to go to the 2015 Masters, because they do the drawing actually the year before, probably like 9 months before. And I drew again. I got tickets again. And so this is something that I couldn't necessarily buy. I mean, you can buy the tickets from like a scalper or whatever, but they're $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a piece. So, but I thought, I want to take my daughter as well. So I drew out again, and that was awesome. Then I didn't do it. I didn't put it on my vision board the next year. I think we had some stuff going. I knew we wouldn't be able to go, but I put it back on my vision board in 2016 for the 2017 Masters. And in July of last year, I drew out again. And so in a couple of weeks, we're going back to Georgia, and we're going to the Masters again. So I've had tickets 3 out of the last 4 years, and all 3 years I put it on my vision board. I've got in here like a trip to Hawaii with our family. Oh, here's my monthly check to doTERRA of $50,000, was just on a little thing like that. So monthly check of, oh, that was 40,000. Sorry, of 40,000 from doTERRA. This was a goal with my faith. I wanted when we built our house, we put in a theater, and all the equipment was getting dated, and so I wanted a new home theater system. I wanted to go on a trip to Italy. So I got that. That's my 2015 Masters. That's another trip to Hawaii. Oh, so this one, I said Europe with the kids. And so I have a bunch of pictures of Europe, and so I got that. This is my monthly check of $50,000 from doTERRA. Put that in there. Oh, this is an interesting one right here. So this says Lunch with Kenny Holland. So you probably don't know who Kenny Holland is. Maybe some of you do. But he became, I guess, a celebrity because he would sing on social media, and he had a good voice, and he's a handsome kid, and a lot of girls follow him. And my daughter, Bella, when she was 13, her and her friends went to a concert. He did a little concert here in Utah, and I took them there, and I picked them up. And when they were done, they were just like, oh my goodness, Kenny, he's so awesome. He's fantastic, Dad. You would like him. He's great. And he just talking to him, and I said, he sounds great. We should have lunch with him. And so my daughter was like, what in the world? Like, how are you going to do that? You can't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm putting it on my vision board. So I took literally a sticky note and I wrote Lunch with Kenny Holland, put it on my vision board. And with about a month later, my friend, Jared, he said that he makes movies. He's a producer and actor, and he called and we were talking, and he said that he was filming a movie, and guess who one of the actors was? It was Kenny Holland was playing the lead. It was a musical, and he was playing the lead. And I was like, oh, awesome. I'm like, hey, and he's like, you should come, come up to the set sometime or whatever. And I said, oh, hey, could we have lunch with Kenny? Could I come in? I'll buy the lunch, and could we have lunch with Kenny Holland? So anyway, I took my daughter, long story short, we had lunch with Kenny Holland. This one was a charity that Tammy and I found and support, Nurturing Nations. In fact, we made this our doTERRA partner project. So I wanted to raise $10,000 in January for Nurturing Nations. And we did that, and I got doTERRA to match it too. So it was actually $20,000. This was my master's for this year. And I've got some more stuff, but you can see it works. And this is my book of evidence. So you got to have a book of evidence. Okay. Book of evidence. It's awesome. Okay. So in just the last couple of minutes, what do I want to, I think I've given you all the directions to do it, how to do it. So I'm just going to challenge you to do it. There's a couple of questions. Oh, I'm going to show you my vision board, right? There is a question from Amy. Do you write down thoughts at the time they come up, like before you move to the next item on your board, or when you're finished with the 3 minutes? So I do it when I'm finished. I find those thoughts are usually similar thoughts the whole time. If you wanted to stop, you spent 30 or 40 seconds on something and you wanted to stop and write those down, you could. I wait and I do the whole thing, and then I write them down. So I'm going to share my screen. My main thing is take the principles that I'm showing you and do it the way you want. But I like to, when I look at my vision board, like I said, the more intense you are, the better. And I don't like to get out of that intensity mode to write down some negative thoughts. And that's why I do it the way I do it. I get really intense with those things. And then afterwards I come out and I'm like, okay, these are the things I heard that aren't true. Okay, sharing my screen. So this is my vision board, maybe. Oh yeah, here it is right now. So I got a health goal right here. So I want to lose some of the belly weight I have. So strong, powerful, and 17% body fat. This one is 3 new business partners that I'm looking for. So I'm hoping to take this one down really quick, because I got 2 new ones. I'm looking for that one more. Financial freedom is here. I don't have my house paid for, but I want to. When I get my house paid for, then I feel like I'll be free to give. This one is, I put on a sticky note. This is golf handicap 0. So when I wrote this down, I was a 6 or 7 handicap, and right now I'm a 4, so getting there. This is Presidential Diamond that I put up recently that Tammy and I are pushing towards that. I feel like it's time for that. I want to raise another $20,000 for Nurturing Nations. If you want to look at Nurturing Nations, you can Google them. But if you're looking for a charity to support and join us in this, they're in Ghana, and they're building a school there for special needs children who are usually in that part of the world. They're killed or sold, or their body parts are harvested. It's super sad. But this one right here is a huge one that I just put up. Probably the craziest thing I've ever put up but I want to actually play the golf course where they play the Masters. So it says on there, Dave Miller playing Augusta National. So it's probably the hardest golf course to get on because it's so exclusive. But you know, I thought, okay, I'm going big on this one. And this one is I want to go on a safari. So, and I put this up a year or so ago, and at the Blue Diamond Summit, they announced a trip to go to Africa for doTERRA, and then there was an option to go on safari. So actually, I'm signed up to go. Or we got a deposit to go, so we're hoping that happens. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things on my vision board right now, and those are the things that I have. And occasionally, I'm telling you, I put something up, and maybe it wasn't something I was really passionate about, but for some reason, and there have been things that I've just like, that doesn't speak to me anymore, and I'll just take it down because it wasn't important, I guess, and I'll replace it with something that I'm more passionate about. Okay, another question is, would you and your spouse make a different vision board? Absolutely, because the things that Tammy has on her vision board are a lot different than mine. Now she also has Safari on her vision board, but she wants different things than I do. I mean, she sometimes wants to go different places. She has different goals for herself, her health, her faith sometimes. So, you know, she may want she may say, oh, I want to spend, 30 minutes a day in the scriptures, because maybe that's something that she hasn't been doing, or and maybe that's something I'm doing, or, there's so many things she does better than I do that I'll have up there that she's already there. And she'll have a lot different things. So definitely different than your spouse, and, supporting each other, but honestly I look at our vision board occasionally, but I couldn't tell you everything that's on it right now. So, okay, well, thank you so much for joining. I challenge you to get out there and try this method and give it a shot. Follow all of the things that I told you, and I hope to hear from you to see how that's working for you. And start your book of evidence and start putting things in there, and just review that often. So anyway, and just remember that the clarity of your vision is directly proportionate. Sorry, your endurance is directly proportionate to the clarity of your vision. So keep a clear vision. Help others to find their vision and keep a clear vision as well. And let's all help each other to achieve our dreams and our success. Have a great day.